Welcome, everybody. We are going to get started to the webinar today. My name is Maria Barakat. I don't think we're having any problems today. We've had some video problems, so I apologize. It's just coming just a little past 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So I'm going to get going. This is the Small Business Goal Setting Digital Marketing Series. Little housekeeping items. Today's recording webinar will be recorded and it will be sent to you. You're all registered. And then I just want to remind everyone that you are on mute. So that's just kind of a standard thing. And that in order to keep the trainings to 30 minutes or less, I'm asking you to email your questions. I do get people sending chat questions. I really just want to keep this under 30 minutes to make it doable and reasonable for all of us who are small business owners so that we don't have to take a lot of time. So email me. I am going to have a Q&A session. I don't know when, but I will answer your questions though if you do directly email me. So I just wanted to remind you of that. Who am I? For those of you who are new on the call, and there's several of you new, welcome. I have 20 years of marketing experience. My name is Maria Barakat, and I have been completely focused on the digital marketing world for the last 10 years. Believe it or not, I had one of the first iPhones and on social media. I own and operate a digital marketing company, and I work with businesses to help them create their strategy through the buyer's journey, which just happens to be what we're finishing up today. And my goal is to teach people, anyone, it's so important in the next 5 to 10 years. If you don't have the digital skills that you need, you're just not going to be able to operate a business. You're not even going to be able to get a really good job. So it's very, very important, especially in this world where there's so much choice through the internet. So our documents are downloadable. I try to send them if I can remember. This new buyer's journey sheet is only available for live listeners because I do have people that register that just listen to the recordings. But for those of you that are here today, I welcome you and I thank you so much for being here. Everything is available to you. We are going to, as usual, review our goal setting. We're going to continue and finish our buyer's journey mapping today. The final step is advocacy. It's that final loop around. And then we're going to review our critical weekly questions and the one that really impacts this stage of the buyer's journey. So here are the goal setting documents for small business owners. Critical to do this, especially today. If you don't really know your mission and your values, you're going to see as we go through this that consumers today want to know what you're all about. So it's very important. Statistics show that people who write down their goals have over an 80% higher success rate. And I can't stress it enough that just writing down your weekly goals is critical. And it doesn't have to be really complicated for you, but it is important. What we're talking about and have been talking about is the difference between the journey and the experience that our customers have. So the journey is just the mapping of how people find you, what they look at to consider you, that decision-making process, and then boom, they become your customer, right? But the experience of it, the buyer's journey experience, is how they feel at each place and each point. And you can find this out in many easy ways. But if you can figure this out and you can turn their, frowns upside down, you're going to be farther ahead. And today we're ending up this journey, and you're going to see that the math makes a difference in the end. So the experience always begins with your content, your e-content, your digital content. And this is a great chart because I want to show you that the less you post, the less engaging it is. Conversion rate means sales. They're gonna look at your stuff. If it's not good quality, low resolution, it doesn't have the good specifications and the benefits and the descriptions, it's not there, there's not video of some kind, it's less and less. People today really want you to provide them everything that they need content-wise. And next week, we are going to talk about the content at each stage of the journey. So that's really important. So for those of you that don't know what the buyer's journey is, it is normally a linear path that we see, and it's normally awareness, research, and purchase. That's how most businesses look at it. But to get that experience of the journey, you have to talk about how they experience your product and service, and then how they advocate for you. And that's because I believe that it's a circle, right? So advocacy, which we're going to talk about today, is the prize. It's the prize because you don't have to work so hard to get people to find you and consider you. They may not still buy from you, but at least you're on their radar and they know that you're there. Getting people to find you in this digital world is really difficult. And it can be very expensive if you don't have a lot of money to advertise. And even then it can be difficult. So it's really important. So we talked about awareness. Awareness is all about you, the business, solving the customer's problems. That's what you do. Research is really research and discovery. It's all about your content. What are you providing them to make that decision about buying you or not buying you, or maybe getting something completely different? And then for those of you that were on the purchase section, and those that are new, I encourage you to listen to that, because it's not just about buying. They can change their mind at any instant in that process. They come in, they have their credit card on the screen, they're doing what they need to do, and they can X out and they're done, right? It's really important. Experiencing the product is the whole unboxing experience. It's how they begin to value the money that they've spent. So this is the critical point to get to advocacy, which is what we're going to talk about today. That is all about retaining your customers and turning them into marketers. See this little yellow thing here? It's not just having a huge email list. If those people aren't clicking and engaging and sharing your stuff, remove them after a certain period of time, because you missed it. You're in their spam folder. And that's where we're going today. So outlining this whole process can really impact your business. This is the form that we're using. We are doing the retaining and growing part of advocacy. I bring up the non-human and the human because 2/3 of your buyers' journey is digital, right? 57% of the decision is made before they even walk in the door to you. And that's all digital content. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the types of content, but mostly we're going to talk about the interaction and how you identify them and why they're so important. So what is an advocate? An advocate, by definition, is public support for or a recommendation of a particular cause or policy. And in our case, it's a business, right? So the product or service that you have. And we as people get together in situations like this, and we talk, and we are talking about all of the things that are in our life, right? That's what we talk about. So we want them to talk about you. Why is that so important? Advocacy is important because it helps you to retain the customers that you have. You don't lose them. And it helps you to promote partnerships with them. That's really what it is. You are creating partnerships with them and maybe with suppliers, when you focus on this aspect of it. And then if you do it right, it really strengthens your connections in this digital world. And that is important because the internet did not bring us thousands and thousands of customers. It brought us thousands of competitors. So your small town is no longer just your competition. China is all over the world. So most importantly, when you turn a customer into an advocate, they become part of your marketing department. And many of us don't have marketing departments, right? We're small businesses and it's not possible. So having your customers do that for you for free with passion can really turn everything around for you. So how do you identify a customer advocate? What does that really mean? Well, first of all, these are the people that like your stuff, right? They're on Facebook, they like you, they're commenting on it. They offer sales references. So for those of you that have big product purchases, you can go to a customer and say, well, hey, can you give me a reference for my service, whatever. They write product reviews. So a product review is a little different. It's where, like on Amazon, where you're saying, I received it, it was in working order, it works. Testimonials are more about you as a company. Really, they post them and they say, I just loved working with Maria. She was just kept me on my toes all the time, right? So we really want that. They also ask you to speak. So it used to be, I come from the financial industry many years ago, and we used to do these things called lunch and learns. And we loved it when our clients said, hey, would you come in and speak at lunch? Would you do this for me? Would you talk to my garden club? Would you do this? So first of all, you have to offer, and second of all, they have to ask. So that's important. They join your customer advisory boards. And for those of you that have, any size of company, you should have an advisory board to help you and guide you. Especially in today's world, it's really, really important. And then finally, they're always sharing you your stuff, right? That's how you can tell. So these are your advocates. So any one of these things that you see, don't roll your eyes that, oh, it's Mary again. She's liking my stuff. Well, Mary's your advocate. So it's important. And the social sharing is the most important. Very, very important that one person on your Facebook share your video, share your picture, share your review, share your newsletter. This is critical because this is the world we live in today. Mistakenly, people think we are in the information age. We're not. That's done. Been there, done that. We've had the internet for a long, long time. The internet just brought data to us, right? It brought it to us on these things, on our cell phones. We are now in a connection economy. So this is where we live. It's where digital relationships matter. So we stay in contact with people on the internet, on our phones. We're texting them. We're not so much emailing even that much anymore. And this is an important distinction because you have to create relationships, but you have to do it digitally. And that's not the way we did it 10, 15 years ago. It's a very different process that we do. So if you look at the journey of where we've been, they found you, they researched you, they bought you, they experienced your product. Now they're your advocate, right? So we used this chart last week because this is how people experience you. And I love emojis because that's how we live our life today, right? Are they engaged? Are they bored? Are they annoyed? Are they delighted? Where are they? I mean, we all want them to be very satisfied, but we're going to be happy with satisfied, right? Delighted would be amazing. So you can identify your own customers in here because all of these people can advocate for you. The question is, are they going to do the 5-star review or are they going to do the 1-star review, right? So the annoyed person, the disappointed person, the upset person, they're not giving you those good reviews. And these are important. So here's some statistics. 49% of people share content to inform others about products they like and potentially want to change their opinions and encourage action, right? So you're saying, hey, I bought this here. I got this headphone here, right? We want to inform people because we ourselves want to appear to be informed. Remember, the information age is part of our DNA. Now we want to establish relationships. 84% of people share content to support causes or issues they care about. Critical. 84%. So this used to be a millennial statistic because people said, oh, only millennials care about, your good works and your charity and your support. It's not true. We all care about what a company believes in and what they value. And so if you're a business and you're operating and you're not supporting causes in your community, you're really, really missing an opportunity to get this top tier of person because maybe they're bored and they're not engaged. Maybe it's a product they only buy once every year or every once in a while. But you could be posting about the good works that you're doing in the neighborhood and all that kind of stuff. 94% of people want to bring valuable content to others. This is what I was saying in the beginning up here. We want to be smart. We want to be informed, but it has to be valuable. We're not going to share salesy schmaltzy stuff. We're going to share things that present us to the world in a certain way, right? And this is where your gold is because the content that you post all along this journey matters. It really, really does. It makes a huge difference. So how do you create these advocates, right? Maybe you have some people liking your content already and you're trying to figure out, well, what do I do? How do I get them to leave me reviews or leave more reviews, right? So there's just like 5 things. You appeal to their motivation to connect with other people. So those statistics that I gave you are very, very important. What is their motivation? And I think that you need to really look at your customers and you need to say, is this someone that cares about my charity work? Is this someone that cares about the events that I do? Is this somebody that cares about my products and services? How do I know them, right? And then you have to create content and appeal to them in that way or invite them to help you. So if you have somebody that comes to every single event that you do, why wouldn't you ask them to help you plan an event, right? It's just fun. You have to solve problems. That's just the bottom line. If you are not a business that is solving people's problems, you cannot build trust. You can't. I'm going to share your stuff because you solved a problem for me, or you solved it for my brother-in-law, or you did this, or you did that. I want to share information on businesses that solve problems, that do good. Simplify your message. This is something I can't stress enough. You don't want to be posting cat videos all day. But you don't want to be complicated either, right? Talking about the intricate details of everything. Think about Apple. Apple did not, when they launched the iPod several years ago, if you look at their advertising, if you look at everything they posted, it was about 2,000 songs in your pocket. So they were solving a problem and simplifying their message. They weren't saying, hey, this thing has 32 megabytes of memory. There's a place for that. But what problem does your product solve for people? That makes it simple right there. Okay? It's not complicated. You want to give them a reason to act. You want to put calls to action in your content. You don't want to sell every single one, but maybe every 5th one. Talk about something that you're doing. And you have to exceed their expectations, okay? Not your expectations. They expect you to respond quickly, to engage with them. There's nothing worse than posting a review and not getting a response. It's horrible. The longer you wait, or if you ever wait, know where people are leaving you reviews. Know this information. Their expectation is the Amazon expectation, and we talked about that a little bit. The less expensive, we're willing to pay more money, but we do want quick service. So that's important. So advocacy. What are your customers thinking at this stage? So when you look at that worksheet and you're trying to say, well, what are they really thinking? Have they been responsive to me? Are they listening? And are they listening to others? So this is where the reviews come in. So when I go to Yelp and I'm looking up things, maybe I've not left a review, but I'm looking to see if they responded. So if there's a negative response on there, that's not a problem. We complain. People have a bad day. Stuff happens. But if you as the business owner are not responding to them, that says something about your overall business. Are they reflective of my values? More and more people are evaluating where they spend their money. I mean, look at these movements that are going on in the country. We don't want to watch shows by people that are not good. We don't want to buy things. This is becoming critical in today's world. Are their business practices good? So it's a little different than values, right? So you don't want to have some United Airlines thing where people are dragging your customers out the door. That's what I mean by good. Your reputation, what you have, what people are saying about you. It's important. How well do they communicate with me? If you're not doing a newsletter, you're making a huge mistake. If you're not sending out mail at least once a year to your best customers, you're making a mistake. If you're not posting daily on the sites that matter to your customers, you're making a huge mistake. If you're not publishing blogs and contents and articles, you're making a mistake. You need to communicate, and you need to do it digitally. Are they sharing relevant information? So not only do I want the businesses that I work with to share their own stuff, but I do like it when they They offer insights into other things in the industry, if it's applicable to you. Not every business is that way, but their customers are thinking about that. And what does sharing this business say about me? So you have to really look at your customer, and you have to get in their shoes, and you have to think about what it says. Does it say I'm an old fuddy-duddy because I'm buying something that's outdated? Or am I relevant? Am I current? Is this helping me? And what's the benefit for me of sharing their content, right? This is the final stage of advocacy. This is where really you know that you have done the right job when they go in, and you have to ask. You have to ask them. And if they don't do it, there's ways to do that too. But if they're not doing it, there's a problem in your whole thing. So should I write out a review, and what should I say? So this is more about your process of reaching out to your customers and asking them. And it's a strategy that you can use and should use to ask them. There's just certain ways that you should do it, but you really need to think about it, and you need to think about what is important to them. So now, if you've been on the call last several weeks, you've experienced the 21st century, right? This is that buyer's journey: awareness, consideration, purchase, retention, and customer advocacy, right? This is the line that we go through. It's the bottom line. It's, customers make the best marketers. Best, because they're sharing. And if you'll notice, all of these things here are content pieces, and we are going to talk about that next week. It may end up being a 2-week process. I haven't put it together yet, because at each stage of the journey, there's different types of content. And, some of you may be looking at this and you're thinking, well, I don't have a store, I don't have this, or I don't have that. But all of us could do frequently asked questions and blogs. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But we've gone through this whole process. And if we can get people to do this, it's going to swing back around here. It's going to go into that circle that is so critical for your business. So now, reflection. This is where you make change in your business, is to take this training, to take these insights and do something with it. Most critical insight for you as you look back, this is your starting point, is to really look at your customers. Who are they? What drives them, right? Do you really know them? Are you focusing on the customers of 15 years ago? Or are you focusing on that new customer that kind of came in that you thought was sort of random? You have to understand who they are. And it's gender related, it's cultural related, it's location related. There's so many factors that feed into it. But you have to think about that. And you need to look at your digital content. Are you giving frequently asked questions and customer rewards programs? How are you doing that? Are you taking those advocates and are you making them feel better? That's the human part of it. How are you rewarding them? Even just calling them up and letting them know that you appreciate that they're reading your stuff and sharing your stuff can make a person feel awesome. And it doesn't take very much to do that. So, why is it important to set and write down your goals? We go through this each week, but I've had some questions about it. So, I just want to go back to that. A Yale University study done in 1953 followed, I think it was 100 students for 30 years, and they're still actually doing this. They found that 3%, the 3% of the students who had written down specific goals in 1953, all those years before and continuing throughout their life, had accumulated more personal wealth than the other 90% of their classmates combined. And this is Yale University. So you take this kind of information and you look at your own business and you think, well, I set them when I started my business 20 years ago. Well, you got to set them every year, every month, every week. And that's what we do here. So which question impacts advocacy? First question of the week: how many new emails did you add to your list? Critical. Emails equal sales. What were your total sales of the week? You need to know that, because you need to know what's selling and what's not selling. It's important. Did every employee that you have know about your promos and your ads? Big, huge problem with retailers. a customer comes in or calls or chats and the person's like, I don't know. I don't really know. How many new fans did you add this week? So fans can be advocates, but for the moment, they're just fans. But it's good to know. It's a great metric to have. What was your most popular piece of content this week? This is how you determine if your content is resonating with your customers. How do you know that if you're not following that? And who was your most engaged follower? This is a difficult question for a lot of people because they roll their eyes at, oh gosh, it's her, it's him, again, always there, always showing up, always doing this. Yeah, you want them because they are sharing your message for free. They're working for you for free. And you can pay them in compliments. You don't have to give them stuff, but you can appreciate them. And I think that that's really critical in the questions. And finally, how are you improving your customer service? This whole process of the buyer's journey is really just understanding the experience of your customers. And once you understand that, then putting the customer service elements in place is really easy to do. So thank you for being here. Short and sweet, like it always is. Next week, we are going to talk about the content types and the descriptions at each stage. I will determine if I'm going to expand on that at all. Content is a huge subject, and it's the main purpose of doing a buyer's journey so that you can figure out what to write, where to post it, when to post it, and all that kind of stuff. It's just really, really important. So as you know, you will receive a follow-up from this with the links where to go to the other ones. If you have any questions, just send me an email, maria@designbearmarketing.com. I will answer your questions, and I so appreciate you being here each week, and I wish you a phenomenal week. Have a great day.